welcome back to the Presence of Being podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. In this video, I want to talk all about perfectionism and procrastination. But before we get into that, before we get started with this recording, I have an important update that I want to share. I'm getting ready to release new hats, restocking the hats that I had made a few months back in early January. And I'd like feedback on what kind of hats you want to see from me. The Presence of Being design that I had made on the stone colored hat with the palm tree, I'm going to bring back, I believe. But it would be really, really helpful if you could let me know what you wanted to see from me in terms of the hat. So what I did is I'm going to put a Google form underneath or linked in this podcast recording, and it'll be in the description in YouTube. So if you could just let me know what kind of hats you want to see from me. I'm debating right now between a baby blue hat with a white embroidery or a white hat with the Presence of Being brown, chocolate brown embroidery that says Presence of Being with the palm tree, in addition to the original stone color one with the chocolate brown embroidery that we released in January. But I want to know what you think. I definitely want to make this like a collaborative process. So if you have any recommendations for what kind of hats you want to see, designs, anything, I am open to it. But I definitely want to get a release out within the first couple weeks of September, if that is a possibility, which I believe it will be. So I'm definitely going to go with the Presence of Being with the palm tree, but I just want to know what kind of colors you want to see. If you are watching this video on YouTube, I'm going to put an image on the screen of what I'm talking about here. So if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple, you can hop over to YouTube and see the visual of these images of what I'm thinking about for the hats. And if not, again, you could just go to the description and be able to access that Google form. And yeah, I just want to say thank you again for supporting everything that we're doing here and the community that we're building. It would mean a lot if you could support me in what I'm doing here with the hats and just let me know what kind of hats you would like to see from me. Again, just to reiterate, the mission of Presence of Being is to build a community of people who value the importance of the present moment and representing presence in the things that they do, in the things that they wear. I think presence is so valuable, and I think Presence of Being can serve as a reminder to look within and understand that you are whole, full, and complete now, and you could do that through presence. It's changed my life. Meditation has changed my life. Understanding the importance of presence has changed my life, and I love the idea of representing that and wearing that through clothing, and these hats are just the first chapter in this whole process of representing that lifestyle. So every single episode, every single piece of content I put out is backed by that mission. And like I said, we're just starting with the hats, but I really see this growing into something even much, much bigger. So this is just the start. Again, there's only going to be a very limited quantity of these hats. I'm just going to kind of judge the interest and then order these hats, and hopefully we can get them out in early September. That would be the goal. So again, if you could just fill out that form and let me know what kind of color combinations you want to see. And it would mean a lot if you could support me in this. So I appreciate you. Thank you again for being a part of our community here. Also, this is important. I'm going to put a link to the email list in the description of this video as well. So you will be able to sign up for the email list and be notified when the hats actually get released. And you'll have first access to the site when it does open. You'll have first access before anybody on TikTok or anything if you sign up for the email list. So I'll leave a link to sign up for that in the description as well of both the podcast and the YouTube video. So again, thank you so much for being a part of our community and for all of your support. I try my best to put out the best quality content I can. I work really hard on all these videos, and the reason why I'm saying that is because I actually believe in what we're building here. So by supporting me with the hats and everything, it's just representing that community and continuing to build this community up which I'm so passionate about and believe so much in. So again, I appreciate you all, every single person who listens to this, every single like, every comment. It really means the world to me. And now I'll actually talk about what I want to talk about in this podcast recording. If you are waiting for the conditions to be perfect in order for you to start taking action towards whatever, any mission, any goal that you have, if you are waiting for the conditions to be perfect to start working towards what you're doing, you're thinking, oh, when this happens, I'll start doing this. Or when I get here, I'll start doing this. You will be waiting forever. The illusion of perfection is like one of the number one things, I think, that limit people and prevent people from taking action towards the things that they deep down want to act on. If you have an idea and you feel internally like now is the time to start acting, but you limit yourself because you think the conditions aren't right, you will be waiting forever. The universe is giving you that idea to start acting, to take action, to make something happen. If you feel inspired by that idea, now is the time to start acting. But if you wait because you think conditions need to be perfect, you will be waiting forever. It's fake. It's not real. It's made up. Let's say you are in the middle of taking action towards something. Maybe you're working on a certain project, like an art project, for example, whatever it is. It could literally be anything. If you are working on any sort of project, you're working on anything, but you keep on editing, changing things, and waiting for that thing to be perfect, to put it out. What is perfect? You can always make something better. You are going to be waiting forever, and you're never going to put out that thing. Being not perfect is real, and people are going to connect more with the things that you do when you are yourself and you don't feel like you need to be perfect. It's real because nobody's perfect, and you can always improve. Let's say you are someone who wants to start a podcast or a YouTube channel, but you are waiting for conditions to be perfect. You are going to be waiting forever. The perfect condition is now. The present moment is the only thing that we have. The present moment is perfect. Right now is the perfect time to start creating or taking action, because there's always going to be something down the road, or you are going to create something down the road that makes it feel like the conditions aren't perfect and that you need to continue to wait. Even in the smallest of ways, if you can start taking action, you are making progress, you are growing, and it's part of your story. Let's say you do create that podcast, you do create that YouTube channel, but you think that you need to edit everything to the best of your ability to make it sound like you are flawless in the way that you're speaking, and the production and the editing is just incredible within that video, and you keep on editing until it's like 110% perfect before you put it out in the world. That video can always be better. That thing that you're working on can always be better. You can always tweak it, and you're just going to be wasting time. Well, you could be creating more and putting more content out there and potentially making a positive impact to a greater degree if you just released things that weren't perfect but still were up to your standard. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't need to be perfect or flawless in order for you to put it out. I'm not saying don't take care of the things that you're doing. I'm not saying you shouldn't have a standard for how you want things to be, but people are going to resonate with realness and things that aren't perfect because it's more relatable, because nobody's perfect. Don't wait for the conditions to be perfect. That's fake. You're procrastinating. The opportunity is now. The opportunity to act is now. Now is the best time to act. The present moment is the only thing that we have. If you keep on projecting something into the future, you are wasting your time because the conditions will never be perfect. If you keep on pushing something over the horizon, thinking that then you'll have everything in order to finally take the first step, there will always be something that gets in your way. You're always going to put some sort of obstacle between you and taking that first step. The amount of growth and personal evolution you will go through by just acting, even in the smallest of ways, even when things don't seem perfect, you just start creating or taking that first step, taking that first few steps, it'll be a part of your story, it'll be real, and you'll gain experience that'll help you move forward in the future. The conditions will never be perfect. I'm repeating that because it's significant. The conditions are never going to be perfect for you to act. I struggled with this so much before I started making any sort of content on the internet, any sort of content online to start building presence of being, anything. Before making my first video, I wanted to do it for at least a month before I actually did it. But I put it off because I thought that it wasn't for me. Like there was only a specific group of people that this shit was meant for, and I didn't think it was me. And then one morning I woke up and realized if I have a vision, if this is the vision that I see for myself internally, and I'm getting all these ideas for what I see presence of being, for example, and a certain life that I want to live, I kept on getting ideas and inspiration to create content, thinking that that is what is going to help me get there. And like I said at the beginning, if you get those ideas, like that is the universe sending you inspiration because it's in alignment with things that you see for yourself, the life that you want. I truly, truly believe that the universe is conspiring for you, for your benefit. And if there's an idea or something that you get inspired to do, the universe is literally going to put people, ideas, circumstances, things in your life to help you move forward. I kept on getting the inspiration to make content, and I didn't do it because I thought I couldn't do it or because the conditions weren't perfect at the time. I always felt like there was something I needed to do or another book I needed to read in order to get more information to how to do this the right way. And then I realized nobody has all the answers and people are winging it. And I was like, if this is what's really in alignment with the places that I want to get to and the vision that I see for presence of being, I need to start making content. So I pulled out my phone. It was rough. It was bad. I obviously thought about the fact that there are going to be people I know who see this, but I said, screw it. If it's important, if it's a priority, you're going to do it regardless. So I took the action. And this is something that I'm still working through every single day, thinking things need to be perfect before I put them out. And this podcast is a perfect example of that. I may stutter. I may but it's all part of the recording. It doesn't need to be perfect. It really doesn't. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have like a standard or you should settle for the quality of work. Obviously strive to have the best quality of work and do your best and have a standard for the things that you do. Try your best. Make sure that it's something that you can be proud of. And again, this goes for anything, whatever project you're working on, whatever it is you're creating, whatever it is you want to take action towards. But it's real if it's not perfect. And it's a part of your story. It'll be a part of your journey. You'll be able to look back if, tying back to the example I made earlier about putting out a podcast or putting out a YouTube video, if that's something that you'd like to do. Those beginning first videos where you're not as confident maybe in your setup or the way that you're speaking or just the production of the video, whatever it might be, you'll be able to look back at that and realize that it was a part of your journey. Like think about how far you'll be able to progress if you just continue to be consistent and put out content, and you'll be able to look back at that video or that stage that you were in when you just started making videos, and you'll be able to look back and be proud of yourself for your evolution or the evolution of the project that you're working on or the YouTube channel or the podcast, whatever it might be. Let's say you want to go to the gym or start working out, but for some reason you feel like you have to have your technique be flawless before you start picking up those weights and getting to the gym. Or you feel like you need to learn everything about this one specific topic before you actually jump in and take action and start doing it. That's not how it needs to be. You can learn, of course, and prepare yourself, but act, because that's where you're really going to learn. The condition is never going to be perfect. You'll always put some sort of obstacle, some sort of barrier between you and the first step if you think everything needs to be perfect. You don't need to wait until this happens, until you want to act. You don't need to wait until you're more knowledgeable. Just jump in, see what happens, see what you're going to learn. Grow. Allow yourself to be in an uncomfortable circumstance by taking action, even when you're not 100% ready, because you're never going to feel like you're ready. You're never going to feel like you're truly ready to act if it's something that you've never done before, because it's unknown. It's uncharted territory. But that's where you really grow. The present moment is all that we have, and now is the time to start taking action towards that one thing that you know you've been putting off. Let this video be the last video you watch about procrastination or perfection. Just forget about it. It's an illusion. It's not real. If you want to act, act. Now is the time. The time was yesterday, but now is the next best time. There's no point in waiting anymore. You don't need to wait any longer. You can start taking action today, and I promise you that if you start acting, you are going to feel inspired to continue to act. Over time, you're going to gain more confidence to act, and you're even going to be better. And it's just going to continue to evolve, continue to grow, continue to compound, and you will be able to look back at where you started and realize that you could have started sooner, but you didn't because you thought that the conditions weren't perfect enough. But ultimately, if you do end up taking that action, you will be able to look back and be proud of yourself for taking action when you may have felt uncomfortable taking that action. Or you may have felt that you needed to wait a little bit longer for this to happen or this to happen, but you were like, screw it, I'm just going to act because I know the conditions don't need to be perfect. And that perfect is made up. Now is the time. Perfection is bullshit. Nothing's perfect. The timing is not going to be perfect, I promise you. This podcast is far from perfect, but that's okay. I'm happy with that. I'm now learning, since I've started content and creating these videos and building presence of being, which I started like a year ago or a year and a half ago, or however long it's been at this point, that these videos aren't going to be perfect, and that's okay. The way that I speak doesn't need to be perfect. I'm still figuring out how I'm going to grow all of this. I don't have all the answers. I know that they'll come to me in time. It's just about taking action and taking action consistently, and the answers will come. The answers will come. Wing it, figure it out on the fly. It's exciting, it's fun, it's challenging, it's rewarding. It's where growth happens. So if you want to act, if you want to start making content, if you want to start going to the gym, whatever it might be, now is the time. I promise you, it doesn't need to be perfect. Also, and this is me coming in after I initially recorded this, I was just editing this, I listened to it back. I want to say this isn't to motivate you. This recording, my intention here is not to motivate you. If you're listening to this, you're clearly into self-development, self-growth. Even if this is the first recording that you listen from my podcast or from my YouTube, like clearly if you're here, you care to grow. So you probably already have a goal or something that you are taking action on, or maybe you have a new goal and you haven't started taking action yet. You clearly want to do it. Like, you've been getting all the ideas. You've been thinking about what it would be like to have achieved that goal. Like, you clearly want it. Just do it. Just start taking action. It doesn't need to be grand. It doesn't need to be massive action. What's one small thing you could do right now to start moving in that direction? The conditions don't need to be perfect. You don't need to make it harder on yourself. Just make it happen. It's literally that simple. It's actually not that simple. I get it's difficult and it's hard. It took me a month. But like, if you want it, move in that direction. The conditions don't need to be perfect. As you act, you will improve. As you act, you will gain more confidence to continue to act. As you act, you will gain more knowledge. As you act, you will gain more ideas to how to continue to grow what you're doing and improve what you're doing. As you act, you will learn. If you don't act, if you continue to stand still because conditions aren't perfect enough for you, you will be standing still forever. You will be waiting forever. And where's the growth in that? Where's the fun in that? Start now. Start today. Before I just wrap up this episode, I want to say thank you again so much for your support. In terms of the hats, if you could just go down and fill out that Google form in the description of this video, it would mean a lot. And if you want to sign up for the email list, there'll be a link to do that in the description as well. Your support means so much to me. Thank you so much for being a part of our community and representing that presence lifestyle through Presence of Being. And when I have any news, any updates when it comes to the hats, I will let you know when that happens.